Good afternoon. I'm Elena Holland.
I'm Juliette Dragus. This is 13 on your side at 5.
This is a winter weather alert. You are watching 13 on your side.
And we begin at 5 o'clock with the weather and the wintry mix we're expecting here in West Michigan.
Let's go right to Chief Meteorologist George Lessons. All right, George, what can we expect here?
We had a little precursor to the main event that's coming overnight tonight. Earlier today, it had some freezing rain and some sleet with it. And outside, we have a winter weather advisory that is in effect until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, when temperatures will finally get up to levels where the wintry precip will not be a problem. That's for Allegan, Berry, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and Calhoun counties. Up until later on tonight, right around 1 a.m., a winter weather advisory goes in effect for Ottawa, Kent, Ionia, Muskegon, and Montcalm counties until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon due to the threat of some sleet and snow overnight. Mainly some freezing rain off to the south, but we have a lull between that little precursor system coming through this morning and this afternoon. It's now cleared on out, but we have more coming up from the south later on tonight. As I mentioned, 1 a.m. here in Grand Rapids. And it will be in the form of freezing rain from I-96 southward. So that's going to impact some travel there, and it'll be sleet and some snow off to the north, mainly sleet early on. We got a lot of water coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. Eventually, all of the temperatures will get well above freezing, so that means all the precipitation by the end of the day tomorrow should be at least changing over to liquid in form. And then we got a lot of rain coming up for Wednesday and Thursday. So again, a lot of winter weather advisories from Pennsylvania, New York, all the way back into Kansas. Temperature-wise, we're right below freezing, and that's the critical point where we'll see either the snow or the freezing rain. Got a little sleet out at the airport right now. 32 down to the south, only 31 up to the north. And there is a little bit of a breeze, but that's not the problem. We will have those travel impacts as your issue here the next 24 hours. So we'll take a closer look at how much ice and snow we're expecting and when are we going to finally get out of this wintry weather pattern a little bit later on.
I'm going to check your windshield washer fluid. I had to use mine several times on the way into the work today.
Yeah, it's that kind of slushy snow that people are kicking up as they're driving down the freeway, and it sounds like might even get a little bit more of that. Isn't that right, George?
That's right. Kicking up off those tires. Going to get a lot of that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, but that's a sign of, I guess, improving weather.
Okay.
The roads are going to be at least damp or wet, even if temperatures are going to be below freezing to the south. To the south is where our biggest concerns are for some impactful travel. 13 weather ball is blinking bright because we have a wintry mix of freezing rain, sleet, and snow in sight. Some of that later tonight. It's also red. Not quite as cold weather ahead.
The 13 on your side weather ball, sponsored by LaFontaine Ford Grand Rapids.
Along the lakeshore, a nice wintry mix kind of a day, and then this little light precipitation moved out this afternoon, and we are in a lull right now. We will see that lull continue until late tonight from Grand Rapids off to the north as some winter weather impacts come through. So this is the way it breaks down. Mainly freezing rain to the south of I-96, south of Grand Rapids, where the ice buildup is going to have high impacts. To the north, we have sleet and snow with medium impacts for visibility, travel, and even some power outages are certainly possible. Once again, we had that light precipitation. First it was snow in Grand Rapids, then we had a couple 3 hours of some freezing rain, and now that has come to an end. This is all going to return, though, later on tonight as that comes up out of Illinois and Indiana. So that's going to be our effective weather late tonight through tomorrow. It'll start out in the form of some freezing rain and stay all freezing rain to the south, but the freezing rain will change to snow from about I-96 northward with some sleet, and then by the end of the afternoon, it starts to change over to rain south and eventually just kind of fall apart after the sun goes down tomorrow. So all day long there'll be impacts, and then here comes the next round. This will be warm enough to be all rain for Wednesday and Thursday. Then I think that's going to be it. We have an extended period of some dry weather coming in. But anywhere you see the purple here, there's going to be enough to glaze up the roads, generally from I-96 southward. That'll be pretty much exclusively the precipitation. It'll be freezing rain there. In terms of sleet and snow, that'll be from Grand Rapids to the north, where there could be a couple 3 inches worth of snow. So enough to shovel and plow in the areas north of I-96, which you'll need to salt down to the south. As far as our long-range range outlook, the trend is toward warmer than average temperatures. Average high is 31. I think we'll be up close to the upper 30s to around 40 for the rest of the month, and a very high chance we'll see less precipitation during that 5-day period. You'll see that in our 10-day outlook coming up. So winter weather advisory already in effect south of Holland. It goes into effect at 1 a.m. for Holland northward on up through Hart. It'll be mainly sleet to the north and some sleet and freezing rain to the south. Temperatures right around that freezing mark. Below freezing north, I think exclusively late tonight it'll be mostly sleet here. And here in the greater Grand Rapids area, we'll see sleet and snow. Grand Rapids northward, freezing rain off to the south. Temperatures below freezing. 13 on your side forecast. So we have that limited travel impact here tomorrow, and then we get a break tomorrow night. Rain returns on Wednesday, lasting through Thursday, 40 plus. Mostly cloudy Friday with dry weather for an extended period starting Friday all the way through most of next week. And later next week, we actually may see some extended periods of sunshine.
Wow, but in the meantime, that snow is going to melt pretty quickly with those 40s.
We're taking bets on when all of our snow, at least on the ground, will go away.
Okay.
I'm going for Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. I don't know if it's going to melt that
I don't
quickly.
know. I'll have
We'll
to
see.
think about
We'll
it.
see.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks so
George.
much, George.
Hello everyone, Chief Meteorologist George Less is out here on the weather deck where it is quiet at the moment. We had a little bit of wintry precip earlier today, but that has come to an end. More on the way. 13 weather ball is blinking bright. We have freezing rain returning tonight off to the south and sleet off to the north.
The 13 on your side weather ball, sponsored by LaFontaine Ford Grand Rapids.
And the 13 weather ball is red. That means we have not quite as cold weather ahead. And if you're planning on walking the dog, Wendy, you got a good opportunity this evening, giving you the green paw for Charlie there. And some snow later on tonight and a little bit of sleet. That'll happen after about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, especially off to the north. Well, we didn't see a lot of sun today in most areas, maybe a smidgen in some spots further to the north where the solar energy farms are located. And the winds are going to be very light here tomorrow, so not a great day to create green energy. One of the few days in the winter that we've been able to say that. Other than that, we've had some light precipitation. Started as snow this morning, right around for the morning commute, transitioned to a little bit of freezing rain, but now we've got several hours where there's not going to be a whole lot going on, but we do have some freezing precipitation coming up in Indiana and Illinois. This is just going to kind of spread northward after about 11 o'clock down to the south, and that's where the higher impacts are going to be, but it still will be minimum south of I-96 and limited to the north with mainly just some sleet falling. You can see the pink moving on in. This is about 1 o'clock in the morning. Mostly pink, that's sleet and freezing rain, and then it changes over to snow, especially north of Grand Rapids where we're going to see some accumulation. Freezing rain in the morning will change to the rain south as temperatures warm up, but it should stay all sleet and snow to the north. And then just like this afternoon's precipitation, it quickly comes to an end. We'll see some rain returning as the temperatures warm up enough during the day Wednesday, and this is going to last into Thursday as well. And this is where the icing is expected. Generally south of I-96, don't need a whole lot to get some icing going on there. So that'll be the main areas for travel impacts. And from Grand Rapids northward is where the higher impacts will be from snow. At least we can drive on snow. You really can't drive on freezing rain. What Jerry Byrne did say here from the Kent County Road Commission. Long range outlook is calling for from the end of the month through the first 5 days of February, we're going to return to warmer than average readings with average highs around 31. I think we'll be well up into the 30s to near 40. And the storm track is going to keep all of the precipitation to our west. We have a higher chance of seeing less in terms of systems coming through the Great Lakes region during that 7-day period. Tonight we have that winter weather advisory already in effect south of Holland, where there's going to be mainly freezing rain, maybe a touch of sleet to the north. Winter weather advisory goes into effect at 1 a.m. from Holland northward, with overnight lows around 32. Again, mostly sleet to the north. Sleet to the north, upper 20s to near 30. You'll have some impacts from the wintry precip overnight, but not as great as the impacts will be further south, where temperatures will stay at or below freezing, with mainly freezing rain and maybe a little bit of sleet right here along I-96. 13 on your side forecast. So we have limited impacts here in Grand Rapids with minimum impacts down to the south. That's our winter storm severity index scale. All rain Wednesday as we get close to 40, and the rain continues into Thursday. After that, mostly cloudy skies and dry conditions return Friday through the weekend, and next week maybe a little bit more sunshine. Right now we're trending dry and warmer than average, even if only it is a little bit warmer.
I am just looking forward to next week and getting some of that sunshine. I miss it.
Yeah, I do too.
It was nice to see it Sunday, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
I could
yeah.
use some more of it, though. Thanks so much, George.
So, George, it could be a little challenging through tomorrow, and then after that, it's snow melting weather.
Yeah, I think so. We've been taking bets on how quickly the snow will go the rest of the month. Yeah, it's going to warm up, Juliet. And between the seasons of mainly winter and trying to get rid of winter, we had this messy period, and we've already started that here today. 13 weather ball is blinking bright, more of that messy transition in sight, and it's also red. That means we have not as cold weather ahead.
The 13 on your side weather ball, sponsored by LaFontaine Ford Grand Rapids.
And we had that little wintry mix earlier today. It's kept our temperature right around 30 here in Grand Rapids. We have the coldest here, high temperature in West Michigan. Most other areas managed to climb to freezing or warmer, but our temperature is not going to go down very much tonight. In fact, 30 is our average high for today. We forecast 32 today. Didn't quite make that, but we're now 3 weeks into our streak within our target. Only one miss here back on January 1. As far as temperatures, we're about 1.5 degrees now below average, but more liquid precipitation and 15 more inches of snow than average. And thanks to more sunshine on Sunday, we're now only about 12% for the month, about 11% below average. But despite the snow recently, we're still running anywhere between about 6 and 10 inches below average here in West Michigan. The only spot is Chicago on the surplus side, below average up north by about 5 to 12 inches, and still 36 inches below average up here in Marquette. So we got some winter weather impacts later on tonight, and off to the south is where the ice buildup will occur. To the north, it'll be mainly sleet, changing to some snow, and there is a medium risk for low visibility, travel impacts, and power outages here the next 24 hours before it starts to wind down just a bit. All of the light precipitation that impacted your morning and noon commute is now well to the east. To the south is where we're tracking the next round. It's coming up into Illinois and Indiana right now. Northern edge of that will be breaking out in southern counties as in the form of freezing rain. As it gets further north, it'll be more sleet than anything else. Hour by hour, here we go. This is 1 o'clock tomorrow morning when the advisory goes in effect for Grand Rapids. This is all sleet and freezing rain. It changes to snow briefly right around daybreak, all sleet and snow to the north. And by afternoon, it starts to transition to the south to just some light rain before it comes to an end. But here from Grand Rapids northward, it's going to be all sleet changing to snow where it will accumulate. And then it comes to an end very quickly tomorrow evening. We'll start the day on Wednesday dry, but then during the day we'll see some rain move on in, and that's going to be on and off throughout the day Wednesday into much of Thursday. Here's where the model is indicating a little bit of icing, more of around 1/10 of an inch further to the south, a little bit less here to the north. This will be mainly some sleet mixed in with that, not a lot, and we are going to see some snow, especially from Grand Rapids off to the north. Couple 3 inches is certainly possible, maybe even a little bit more over toward Lansing, Howell, and Pontiac. As far as our forecast then for tomorrow, winter weather advisories until at least 4 p.m. Sleet and snow to the north, freezing rain, maybe a little bit of sleet changing to rain south as temperatures climb into the mid and upper 30s. Up north, you'll be in the mid 30s here. All sleet and changing to snow during the day. And here in the greater Grand Rapids area southward, some freezing rain changing to rain. We'll still have sleet and snow here in Grand Rapids, highs around 35. 13 on your side forecast. We'll see milder temperatures near 40 Wednesday and Thursday into Friday when we finally get out of this wintry weather pattern. Mostly cloudy Friday, cloudy over the weekend in mid and upper 30s above our average high of 30. Next week right now trending dry and a little bit sunnier.